unlikable protagonist. He always wins, and his lack of flaws is a flaw in itself. The way he achieved his quirk and how that impacts his fighting makes him pretty boring, as he's always overpowering his opponents instead of outsmarting them. Now, saying that a piece of media is objectively bad is wrong, and saying that you could make it something better is also wrong. However, I think most would agree Deku isn't great, but how would I go rewriting him? I've set some conditions for this task, so I don't alter the story to a point where it's completely different. But I do just want to say Horikoshi is a great author, and I have no tripes with him. I just want to give it my own hand. I am not a writer myself, but I'll try. So the conditions. Deku must obtain one for all, the main villains of each arc must be the same, and the only villain who will change is Deku, no one else. So first I would change how Deku perceives Bakugo. Bakugo won't see Deku in a different way, but Deku would hate Bakugo. Also, I would make Deku more strategic, but he would act on emotion more than thinking it through first. I would also make him less selfish. The way Deku obtains one for all isn't because he tried to save Bakugo, but he risks his life for Bakugo. He offers to trade lives despite hating him because he sees himself as useless. All Might sees a fatal light and believes he could grow brighter than Mirio's and bets on it. Deku has to train for a few months and obtains one for all. I would say that the entrance exam should play out the same. Deku saves Uraraka and passes, then Edith still becomes class president. Deku will fail and lose to Bakugo, but Bakugo will blow up the building, not helping. The real change would be the attack on USJ. Deku would go for Shigaraki to protect the astronaut dude, I can't remember his name, but for selfish reasons. He risks his own life so he can feel like a hero, even after being told by All Might not to. And he'll lose to Shigaraki after breaking his arm, doing damage, but also taking a lot, when All Might saves him after beating Nomu. Now, for the tournament arc, I feel it should play out exactly the same terms. Who wins passes through the matches. The difference being that Deku will not let Todoroki win. Todoroki beats him and drives Deku to learn to be able to use one for all without breaking his fingers. This pushes him to train his hardest with Gran Torino, and pushes full cowling where Deku can start using 8%. But the massive change is going to be in the Stain fight. Deku is going to knock out Ida and fight Stain alone. He will not win in the same way, though, because if Deku gets hit, Stain can freeze him. The first thing Deku is going to do is get rid of Stain's knives. He'll have to dodge, and when Stain goes to stab him, it will miss, getting stuck in the walls. Stain will be able to pull him out and start trying to bite Deku. Deku only wants Stain in jail and doesn't want to permanently injure anyone, but he's forced to make the decision to punch out all of Stain's teeth. And despite being a villain, Deku sees Stain's ideals and swears to be a hero to protect those regardless of pay, regardless of fame. He decides to make sure that the people aren't dying for the sake of his pay. Stain gets thrown in jail, but he may have a lasting impact on Deku. This will lead to Deku falling out with Uraraka, and will start to think of more ways he can fight. He thinks of a way to dodge attacks easily and attacks to return. He thinks of a powerful leap that could move into a powerful strike. The word leap rings and hits him, that he doesn't have to use his legs. He needs to be able to use his legs, so he thinks of a shoot style earlier. We're going to have some major changes during the forest training camp arc. For starters, Deku doesn't want to save Bakugo. He despises him for what happened during their childhood. This will make it all the more powerful when Deku does decide to go. Deku tells the others to stay behind and will go after Bakugo alone, pushing himself to his limits. He first will fight Muscular, but this fight will be wildly different. Instead of the garbage that was 1,000,000% one for all, Deku can either try to wear him down, dodging attacks, or run, both of which will provide problems. Deku will beat Muscular by using 100% one for all attacks. He will repeatedly shatter his arms to do damage to Muscular, and his legs too, winning but collapsing in the process. The next arc will be the same, being the major difference, where Deku will feel guilty, for if he was stronger he could have saved Bakugo. And through what Stain did to him, he repels other heroes, driving them away. He trains harder, but more in solitude. All Might will fight all for one, and it could be a glorious... But will All Might win? Will All Might beat him? All for one with the United States of Smash. Of course he will. But, here's the difference. Deku is going to react differently. Whereas everyone's cheering when All Might tells them it's their turn, Deku says to himself, with Bakugo watching, it's up to me now. And where everyone else is screaming, Deku is looking down, kind of upset. Now, during the provisional license exam, Deku will fight harder and do his best during the first test. He will pass with flying colours, especially with him dodging and with his shoot style. During the second exam, he will pass saving people, but he will find himself slightly hating what he's currently doing, but he continues to pursue his goal knowing he's doing it to save people. There is no selfish act for why he may do it. Deku obtains the provisional license. I imagine Deku to fight Yaorashi. He would have to bypass his win instead of just overpowering him during the dodgeball fight. He would use One For All to jump up and with a shoot style unleashing an Alaskan smash. Yes, that's what I'm calling it. Kicking the ball to hit him, but obviously not taking him out. Finally, the big climax of Season 3. Deku versus Bakugo. Deku is going to win. He's going to push himself to his absolute limits and break bones, but he will succeed. The explosions will be handled from gusts of air. Deku will be able to create them, but only at 100%. Their aim is to wear down Bakugo to push himself and use a Carolina Smash, and he will have trouble. He tries to get it off, but Bakugo uses his explosion to dodge barely. Then Deku reacts to finish with a Delaware Smash, ending the fight. Deku will still take recoil damage mostly, but he will win on the brink of collapsing. He won. But Bakugo figures out Deku as All Might's quirk and confronts All Might and is right. Why else does Deku say the same names? Or why does he react differently to everyone else cheering after All Might beat One For All? Now, obviously Deku and Bakugo are going to be punished, and it's really going to stay the same. They'll just be forced to clean. But now Deku is really going to resonate with Lemillion. Into Season 4, the first change is Tanayo, the journalist, and how he's treated. He successfully deduces that Deku is All Might's success, and he wants to publish it. Deku obviously doesn't want that, as he strives to be a hero to help as many as possible, not for the fame. So once he asks for the story not to be published and is refused, he threatens him. Out of fear, he complies. Next is the work to get into the Night Eye's agency. He's going to be more standoffish towards the other heroes, and isn't even going to ask, "Is this a joke to you?" They will fight, and I will not alter it in any way, as I like the strategy Deku uses in this. Now, during the meeting with Overhaul, Deku will be more aggressive towards Shi, but not be able to rescue Eri. After this, I want everything until the Deku versus Overhaul fight stay the same. During the fight, Deku will not have Eri. Deku is going to be frustrated at Overhaul for what he did to Mirio. He's going to go all out against Overhaul. He's going to attack with 8% and destroy Overhaul. The final attack being 100%, knocking out Overhaul killed by Shigaraki, but ending in a draw, with Deku ending up the same with Mirio, and Eri being able to restore them both. The final arc I'm covering is the UA Festival arc, as the Pro Hero arc doesn't really have anything to do with Deku. And I haven't read the manga, nor do I wish to, so I'm only covering everything up to the end of Season 4. Now, if you do want a Part 2 after Season 5 comes out, type it in the comments. I would much prefer if Deku didn't get involved. He doesn't care. It's a waste of time and not a joke. Rather, he's going to stay with Mirio and Eri and help them mentally recover, ignoring his own problems. So when Gentle is attacked by Deku, he isn't going to have a revelation, because he wasn't like Deku in this iteration. But Deku is going to be annoyed for everything he hates in a hero, but in a villain. He's only in it for the fame, so when he infiltrates the culture festival, Deku beats the living daylights out of him, and Gentle Criminal is sent to jail. Now, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe. See you.